I'm back. I wasn't planning on making another video, but I just had a really interesting conversation with my waitress. And I thought, okay, this is what's going through my head. I'm going to try my best to explain it without crying, because this is a no cry day. We have to be kind to people, and not just during the holidays. Every single day, we need to be kind to each other. We need to be kind to the person who's bagging your groceries. We need to be kind to the people who are cleaning your home. We need to be kind to random people and strangers in the street, and the people who serve you when you go out to your favorite restaurant, the person behind you, in front of you at the supermarket. It doesn't matter. We need to be kind to people, because you just never know what someone is going through. You just never know. And let me explain something to you guys. I know what it's like to feel hopeless. When you just in that pit, in the valley, and you feel like there is nothing more that you can give or offer anyone. I know what that feels like. A sense of hopelessness, a sense of nothing good can come out of either the situation or my life, right? It just takes one word, a positive word from somebody. It's not always what someone who loves you, who's close to you, says. It's always that stranger. And I know I'm all over the place, but everybody is hurting. You got that guy Twitch who just deleted himself. I'm starting to believe that there are more hurting people than people who are just like, okay. But something else I want to tell you guys, just because someone can turn on a camera or be the life of a party, the first one to dance, the first one to grab a baby and stop the baby from crying, and you can look at a person and just think they're doing okay. That's not always true. As a matter of fact, study shows that that outgoing person, that person 9 times out of 10 is really hurting, and it's a cover. And I had to explain that to my husband. Depression, thoughts of unaliving yourself, it's invisible. You can't see those things. That's why it's important to be kind to people. That's the reason why, if you don't feel like you can verbally say something kind to somebody, but giving somebody a smile, acknowledging people by looking at them in the face and just a smile, not in a creepy way, just an acknowledgement way, just a way that the other person can feel validated. And this should not just be happening during the holidays. It should be happening every single day. Each and every one of us should make it our mission to say something kind to somebody who we don't know, because it's easy to say good things to people that we know and love. It's easy. But it's not easy to talk to somebody who is a stranger or is hard to love. That's a challenge sometimes. We're all wearing a mask. Every last one of us is wearing a mask. And when I was just talking to my waitress, it's just like, she just kind of poured her heart. Her father passed away in 2018, and she struggles, right? I mean, I don't know why it's revelation to me. It shouldn't be, right? But just to give her the space and the time to talk about her dad, and me just listening, really listening, and not allowing her to speak, but me thinking in my head of what my next response should be. No, really just organically listening to her and validating her and reassuring her to let her know that her grief journey matters and that it looks different than everybody else who's grieving, and it should, because the grieving process is special, and we need to normalize, the grieving process. It shouldn't be weird. Sometimes it's just like you don't be wanting to talk about your issues or grief because you don't want to bring that other person down, or the other person feels awkward. It's a part of life. Somebody said that to me in the gym yesterday. They was just like, we were talking about another young lady who lost her son. And it's been some years, but nonetheless, right? Doesn't matter. She lost her son. I'm not sure how he passed away, but the other lady was like, yeah, she'll just come up to you and say, hi, my name is such and so, and my son died. And the other girl was just like, yeah, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. Well, why? I mean, I understand, but it shouldn't make you feel uncomfortable. It should make you feel empathetic, sympathetic. I kind of feel like my waitress this afternoon just needed space to talk. And even in the midst of my own, what I got going on, I felt the need to allow her to. And when she was done, I just shared a little bit of my heart with her to let her know I'm right there with you, right? I never like to tell people, I understand, I feel you. I'm the same way, because it's not. And that's borderline insulting to tell somebody that, whether you know it or not. I understand, I get it, because I went through. Everybody's journey of trauma and grief is different. And we need to get to a place where we honor that. So, because actually when you say stuff like, yeah, I get it, I feel you, I get it, it's almost like it's almost like a comparison. And to me, in reference to my mom, for example, nobody on this planet had a relationship with their mom like I did, right? And I'm sure you feel the same way about your loved one. And we need to honor that relationship. It's okay. So we have to be very careful. And it's okay to say things like, I'm familiar with I'm familiar, right? I'm familiar with your pain. Right after my mom, I went ahead, and it wasn't recommended, but I went ahead and became a certified grief educator. And now I understand why people say, you should wait at least a year after a death of a loved one before taking that class, because a lot I don't remember. It's a lot I had to go back to and review notes. And, I do follow, if you don't know, David Kessler. I think that's his last, Kessler. He's a grief educator. And I listen a lot, and a lot of things come back. But when you're listening to someone talk about their grief journey, it's to be honored and not compared. And the thing about it is, people mean well. People mean well. But people also, because grief makes people feel a little awkward, they want to pull you out of that sadness so quickly. So and they want to make sure you're not sad anymore, but that's not how it works. Don't pull me out of it. That's only God can do that, right? Our job is just to be present. Just be present. I know a lot of people used to say, what do you need, Maya? What do you need for me to do? And a lot of the time I didn't have an answer. I didn't know, between, the pain the pain was way too raw. I wasn't sleeping. But one of my good girlfriends, she just came by and started to clean. The house was already clean, but she re-cleaned it again. She made breakfast. That was it. And then she was just there. She was just there. And she forced me to eat. But we got to be there for people. We're not the only ones on this planet going through. Let's acknowledge people. When you get into the line, like I just left Marshall's as well. I had to pick up a gift for my daughter's father. And although this is a funky time of the year, when I got to my cashier, I made sure to acknowledge her, to look at her in her face, and and she asked me, did I find everything okay? And I said, I did. Are you good? Are you good? And she just looked at me and she smiled and she shook her head. And yeah. And I've been to a few YouTube seminars and classes online, and one of the biggest things that people talk about is filling in that silence. Like, don't let a long stretch of time of silence just be silent. You want to entertain your audience, and I get that, but in real life, silence is okay. It's okay. Because we're so used to, when we get in our car, we turn on music or a podcast, or we have somebody sitting next to us and we're talking, right? It's like we can't stand the silence. You can't stand it. Because then that's when reality sits in and you have to really be with your thoughts, right? And that's hard. And that's hard. So I just wanted to share that. Be kind to people, all people, and especially be kind to yourself. So I'm about 5 minutes from the house. I love you guys. I will talk to you later. Bye.